is the charm here. Never try to start a live stream if you're uploading an HD video file to YouTube that is choking the crap out of your connection. Hello folks, I am Nathan P. Butler. This is the first in what I hope will become a series of live streams that I'll be doing with Star Wars Battlefront, the real deal instead of the beta. I do have a playlist of beta live streams, including some beta impressions and whatnot. That's a separate playlist on the YouTube channel here. Hopefully going to be doing things a little bit differently than you might see with other live streams perhaps, or something where we can sort of add some value to this if you are someone who's trying to watch this for some entertainment value as opposed to just looking for strategies and things like that for the game. This is not a dedicated gamer playlist per se, not going to go hardcore on Call of Duty-esque detail. But this episode, so to speak, this live stream is mainly just to give folks who do hop into this early live stream a chance to ask questions, but also a chance for me to provide some insight into me, what we're going to be doing with this, and whatnot. Sort of give you my bona fides so that you know who the heck this is, just in case this is the first time that you're checking it out just through the live stream or maybe through the YouTube channel and you haven't checked out some of the other stuff on the channel, and give you sort of a mission statement of where we go from here. I will say that after having seen and played the beta for Battlefront, I was not particularly impressed on anything but the graphics. I agreed very much with what one of my listeners, Jeff Kenda, said, which is simply that it is perhaps the best-looking, laziest game in years. I am hoping that the full version of Battlefront, which I've only played a little bit of so far, will wind up dispelling that notion, that there's more to it, more depth, than what the beta suggested. The beta obviously was just a beta test. It was a stress test. A beta is not necessarily an early version of a game. In fact, it's the last stage before release. So those who said, well, you can't judge it by the beta are kind of full of shit, because you can judge a lot about a game by its beta, but you cannot do an intellectually honest, there's that term, assertion of a game's quality based just on the beta. You need to be able to see more of it. And I would say that Battlefront is sort of straddling a couple of lines here as far as what people are looking for out of the game. So, quick rundown here, quick bona fides before I jump into the gameplay here. I am, as I said, Nathan P. Butler, or Nate, whatever you want to call me here on the channel, anything but asshole probably. No, I'm not going to be censoring this. This is mine. This is not something with tied into the podcast per se. From an online standpoint, if you're listening to this and following this YouTube channel, then you probably know about the video series that I do on here. I do From the Star Wars Home Video Library, which is a look at all the different Star Wars home video releases over the years with some detail about what makes them different, what makes the packaging unique, repackages, and things like that. I do a guide to Disney Infinity for Star Wars fans, a guide exactly what it sounds like, to Disney Infinity, especially 3.0 and beyond for Star Wars fans to help bring Star Wars fans into the fold there. I also do video reviews of all kinds of stuff from Fantasy Flight Games, the RPGs, the cards, the miniatures, all that kind of stuff, and have other videos here on the channel as well. This is going to tie into Star Wars podcasting for me, hence calling this the Battlefront Livestream Podcast for now until I come up with a better name for it. I have been a podcaster in the Star Wars community since 2002, since before the word podcasting existed. I started with Chrono Radio. I've done things like the EU Review, But Learniverse, Fan Audio Made Easy, and so on and so on and so on. My current series I'm involved with are Star Wars Beyond the Films, which I host with Mark Herleman, and Star Wars Reports Rebels Roundtable, where I am one of the team members for that panel about Rebels. You can find that over at StarWarsReport.com, both of those shows, actually. Any of my other previous shows right now, you can find over at StarWarsFanWorks.com. I would say that probably my biggest claim to fame, if you want to call it that, within the Star Wars fan community, is that I am the compiler, writer, whatever you want to call it, of the Star Wars Timeline Project, now known as the Star Wars Timeline Gold, which is the single most comprehensive Star Wars chronology document available the single most comprehensive Star Wars chronology document available anywhere. And that is not an exaggeration. The Holocron at Lucasfilm is a database, not a chronology document. There are basically 5 documents now, totaling almost 3,000 pages, which take you through the Legends continuity, the canonical stuff, and all kinds of other materials along the way. Hey, JM, is that Madden there? We in the process, I guess, of developing that, I would say that it's been going on for quite a while. It's my longest running project since 1997. I just turned 36 when it turned 18, so I've been doing it for actually more than half my life now. But that's probably what got the most attention early on. I've also had a chance to contribute to the Star Wars continuity, the Legends continuity at least. I wrote for Star Wars Tales number 21, eventually wound up with action figures based on it. I contributed to the Star Wars Essential Atlas with some dates for various battle maps and whatnot. Got a chance to set the in-universe Legends calendar date for Return of the Jedi when I was working with Jason Fry and Dan Wallace on Atlas stuff there. Some other minor contributions here and there along the way. And in terms of professional writing, but not within Star Wars per se, not official Star Wars, I have written about Star Wars for professional publications. Movie Magic Magazine's newest issue has a story I've got in it. I'm writing for the various Sequart anthologies coming out now with essay collections. Contributed to the Star Wars Super Collector's Wish Book, 4th edition back in the day, and so on and so on and so on. I'm also a writer outside of here in that I've worked on writing for the Wars franchise based on the card game, and I have written an original sci-fi time travel and telepath novel called Greater Good. All that's over at nathanpbutler.com, all is one word. But professionally, I'm a teacher. So I like this idea of an online teacher with Fulton County Schools in the Atlanta area. I like this idea of using a live stream as a place for discussion, not just to see somebody die over and over again, but a place for some actual discussion about the qualities of the game, try to do something intellectually honest, as I use that phrase quite a bit, to sort of give it an honest appraisal. This is a game that, to be honest with you, there are two types of people generally who are commenting on this game. There are those who view this as, it's a Star Wars game, and what I care about is it authentically Star Wars, and the gameplay is a secondary consideration. You've also got the opposite. People who look at this and are judging it based on the gameplay and based on it as a game, with Star Wars being the secondary consideration. Is it a good game first versus is it a good Star Wars experience? And those, I think the answers in a lot of ways are very, very different. So, I'll go ahead and connect here to EA and give you at least a little bit of a breakdown of what you're seeing here on the screen. This is a little bit than the beta just because we can see more with it, but the layout's pretty much what you saw with the beta if you went through that or if you watched the live stream for that one. Connecting. This also like the beta. All right, so before we get into the different play modes, there are things that you can collect, things you can unlock. This is something new compared to what we saw with the beta. There was not a lot of customization in the beta, so let's look at unlocks first. You have star cards. While you play, you have abilities that are activated by, on PS4 at least, R1 and L1, or holding down the triangle button, essentially, or when you get something at the bottom, it's actually both bumpers. But the idea is that you have this set of cards, this hand, made up of 3 cards, 2 that don't require charging other than a cooldown, 1 that requires collecting energy to be able to use, and those 3 cards make up your hand. Those are your star cards. So as you get credits, and I haven't played any of the multiplayer on the regular version yet, I've just been tooling around, getting stars on tutorials and whatnot. Very, very recent download as of midnight last night. You will unlock these as you go. You will notice I have a couple already unlocked. You might say, well, how did you do that if you haven't played through much of the game yet? That's where the deluxe edition comes in. There was a $60 standard version and a $70 deluxe version, and 2 of the things you could unlock are star cards here. This ion torpedo, that is an unlock for the deluxe edition. It is perfectly available within the regular game. It just happens to be unlocked initially for those who got the deluxe. And same thing there with the ion grenade, both of which will help you against vehicles in particular. Now, along with this, you'll be choosing your hand, and you're going to put in 2 of the charge-up cards, the ones that just require a cooldown to charge up, and then in the center one that I don't have yet, which is to put in a card that requires picking up charges, kind of like picking up ammunition as you play. This is a game that uses blasters with power packs that are effectively infinite. So you don't actually have ammo to pick up most of the time. This is the type that will actually use the ammo. Okay. Weapons, again, you unlock them as you go. There are quite a few different ones, not as many as in some games, but a decent amount here. And again, the deluxe edition gives you immediate access to the DL-44, Han Solo's blaster, essentially from A New Hope. Similar to X. That's a lot of different letters. I'll just call you Mr. X. Similar to Battlefront 2 in some respects, but the way that the gameplay actually plays when you start is very different, and you're not necessarily creating loadouts per se, except for, I mean, you're choosing a weapon and you're choosing your cards, but it's not quite the same as like different classes having different loadouts to start with. Pretty much every character is essentially interchangeable in this game. Classes don't really exist. Appearance, this is something we didn't have any access to during the beta. And you have Rebel, Imperial, and emotes to choose, and you do need to set up each of these because you will not get to necessarily choose every time which side you're going to be on. So you want to know what you're going to look like as a Rebel, as an Imperial, and the emotes you set up for both. I find it interesting that when you do choose Rebel and you move over to the side, your first choice is Human 1, and it is a black female. Most multiplayer games, when you're setting up your avatar, it's almost always going to start you out with a white male. Star Wars has been doing a lot with diversity in the last year and a half, really since story group canon became the order of the day instead of Legends. You have characters like Nakari Kellen, Rey Sloane, Sana Solo, all of which are strong black female characters, so it may be a coincidence, but I think it's kind of interesting that we have a black female character as the first default choice if you're trying to play as a Rebel. Part of me, the sarcastic side, the cynical side, wants to say, you know what? They want you to choose a character. They make it so that the first one you choose is a black female so that all of the prepubescent, racist, potty-mouth, dumbass, see, potty-mouth, dumbass, there's some hypocrisy there, or irony, all of the little kids who get angry about playing the game and losing and start calling people racial epithets and whatnot, congratulations. You are immediately playing as a black character. If you really are racist, you're going to have to change to something else. Cynical side of me saying that, but you know, either way, it's interesting that it's not default white male like so many other games have. You can unlock, using your credits that you earn, different hairstyles, and then as you go through, you always start with one that's got a helmet, and then various facial hairstyles for the men. Thank God, not for the women. We're not in Mother Russia. Oh, now I've pissed off Russians. My bad. My apologies. But you got your different designs, essentially. I think that woman, I'm pretty sure that that's, if you're playing as her, you're playing as Nancy Pelosi. Or Skeletor. Kind of the same thing. Again, scrolling. You will eventually, after quite a while, get to the aliens, the non-humans. And you've got a Sullustan, a Duros, a Rodian, a Zabrak, an Ishitib, a Quarren, and a Twi'lek that you could play as. Though, at least for right now, you're not looking at gender switches for them among your choices. Imperial's not nearly as much in terms of diversity because a lot of them are helmeted and armored. But you've got Stormtrooper male and female. Notice there is a difference. I switch back and forth. Apparently the only difference is where is that belt on the body? At least from this angle. You can be Stormtroopers with the helmet off, though, which just cycle through most of the same character models as for the Rebels. Until you eventually get down into things like Scout Trooper, Shadow Trooper, and so on. Okay, so you do have some other items available there. You go to emotes, and this is where we also have a couple of those things that the deluxe edition winds up providing for you. That is the victory emote, right? That is one that comes with the deluxe edition. Shoot first, fist bump. You really got to walk up. You must be next to another character to use the fist bump. Otherwise, doesn't that mean you're essentially walking up to somebody and they're leaving you hanging every time? Perhaps? Or maybe there's supposed to be like a Green Lantern ring on your finger or something. In darkest day, screw it. You have a bad feeling about this. Come on. And then this is the one, the ion shock, also known as seizure, which is the other one that you get through the deluxe edition. I believe actually the ion shock is an actual exclusive as opposed to being something that's just unlocked from the start. So you can go through, you can do your setups all in here under appearance. So it's essentially as close to customization as you get as far as character appearance. None of the armor makes a difference. Your race doesn't make a difference. It's just a look. blasters and star cards we've already looked at. There's another thing here under collection that was not available in the beta, and that's the Diorama. Not a Dianoga, not a little beast that's going to suck you down in the trash pit, but a Diorama. And yes, load times are a little long. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a straw now, aren't I? Smacking the microphone. Let's see, have I made one of myself? You mean of the, Mr. X, I don't know if you mean like of the characters, of as far as creating an appearance that looks similar to my real-life appearance? Alright, so here you go. This is your diorama, and basically it's just sort of this battle scene. And right now, everything is essentially looking like it's a hologram. And as you complete those little tasks down at the bottom, like defeat 250 soldiers while playing as a hero in multiplayer, it'll keep track of the number of them until eventually you earn it, and essentially unlocks this piece of the diorama to eventually give you the entire scene. It's nothing special, but it's, you know, a neat little thing to have. It's kind of like, oh, I just finished up playing all the DLC finally for Evil Within. So it's kind of like an Evil Within having the character models that you can unlock, or Injustice Gods Among Us opening up character models that you can look at in the viewer and things like that. Nothing special, but, you know, minor added value. Stats are going to tell you what your stats are. Again, I have not been messing around with the multiplayer yet. I did that in the beta. I've just been playing around with the tutorial, getting stars and crap like that since I got it. I decided to jump on here and give sort of a breakdown of this first. Season Pass, nothing like a little built-in advertising, right? I do already have the Season Pass. I actually went pretty far out on this. I did not buy the one from Walmart that has a little Han Solo mini fridge. There is a limit to the number of crappy little things that I need around me. But I did do the deluxe edition of the game, as you saw by the different items included there. I did get the Season Pass. And I did go for the collector's edition version of the guide, which I picked up at Best Buy today. And speaking of Best Buy, these are the Sand Trooper. There you go. The Sand Trooper limited edition headset from Turtle Beach that was released for Battlefront. It was released actually a couple weeks ago, but it is tied into Battlefront as well. So I spent quite a bit on a game whose beta I found very lackluster. So, like I said, I'm hoping that it will get stronger. Now, again, in settings, credits, it's just the credits. You can set up your audio, etc., etc. I did want to show you a couple things that are new from the beta here. This is all pretty much the same as far as setting up your controls. Gameplay-wise, though, one thing that I did find helpful that was a complaint that I had about the beta was in the beta, you would constantly be respawning in first-person mode, and if you wanted to play in third-person, you'd have to constantly hold down the down button, and then now you're back in third-person over and over and over again. In this case, you do have the option now, soldier camera, 1P or 3P, first person or third person, which I think is a nice addition there. Again, credits, video settings, mainly for brightness. Turn the brightness all the way up and blind yourself on Hoth. Get your audio and information for your EA account. As for modes and such, here on the first page here, you have some information about the game on your Get a Head Start and Season Pass information. Again, kind of like the Season Pass info up above. No biggie. But your modes are greatly expanded, of course, because the last one was just a beta. Missions is your single player or co-op, which can also be done as, we're talking about two options, can also be done not just as single player co-op, but when in co-op, either as split screen, local, or as online. Under training, you have X-Wing training in Beggar's Canyon, speeder bike training called Indoor Chase, Overpowers and ATST training, Dark Side gives you a chance to play with the hero, and Invasion gets you a chance to play with the air speeder. Invasion would have been nice to have in the beta because nobody knew, it seemed like, until the last few days, how in the hell to take a snow speeder power-up, if you could ever find one, and use it to bring down both AT-ATs and actually have the Rebels have a chance of winning Walker Assault. So Invasion is essentially a tutorial mostly geared toward making Walker Assault not suck for the Rebels. Battles are going to be just straight combat. You have Battle on Hoth, Hero Battle on Hoth, Battle on Tatooine, Hero Battle for all 4. There are 4 planets in this game. You have Hoth, Tatooine, Endor, and Sullust. And for each battle mode, you have regular battle or hero battle. Regular battle is just, regular grunts on both sides battling it out. You play against AI-controlled players amongst the other ones that you're playing against, although you can turn off some of the AI-controlled soldiers in your settings. Hero Battle sends you in as one of the heroes, so that's either Vader or Luke or Han or Leia or Boba Fett or Palpatine, the 6 different heroes that are currently in the game. And that lets you use all their special abilities in the combat against the waves of enemies that you're fighting on the other side. Okay. Why an X-Wing in Beggar's Canyon? Because a T-16 isn't in the game at all. It's a chance to actually get a sense of how the X-Wing flies. In fact, I'll make that the first thing that I play here in just a second, because I want to make a point about something that they haven't made clear in the game, that the guide thankfully made clear. Survival is like a horde mode. Again, 4 locations, and it's basically 15 waves of enemies. It was 5 in the beta, and we can only play on Tatooine. Now it's 15. You play on any of the 4 locations, and either you or you and a partner are fighting wave after wave of increasingly difficult enemies as you go along. There is no story mode. There is no campaign here to speak of. When they talk about, well, if you don't like multiplayer, you can play single player or co-op against the computer. Yeah, kind of, but there's no story to it still. I mean, when people talk about single player, they're not talking, I want to play on my own. They're usually talking, I want to play a story, and that doesn't exist. These have the most brief of backstory to any of them, a quick little cutscene at the beginning. I also find it interesting that in the battles, when Leia is busted out in the battles, anywhere but Hoth, I believe she still wears the Hoth clothing, so when she's on Tatooine or on Sullust, that must suck to be wearing that. I got that Superman Smallville jacket from the jacket maker, that leather jacket, and it's about 50 some odd degrees today in the Atlanta area, and I wore that when I went to go actually pick up the guide at Best Buy, and by the time I got halfway there, I had to take that sucker off. It was too damn hot. I cannot imagine Leia walking around in those clothes in those battles. Then again, if they're going to retire the metal bikini, when it comes to wardrobes, all bets are apparently off now. Multiplayer is really where the bulk of the game can be found. We have Blast. A Blast is essentially a team versus team, like a team deathmatch kind of thing. Droid Run, which is sort of a capture and hold, but it's mobile. The droids move, you're trying to get to them and capture them or to hold control over them. Fighter Squadron, straight up space combat, right? And looking at this, by the way, those numbers are how many players, right? So Blast is 20 player, 10 on 10. Droid Run is 12, 6 on 6. Fighter Squadron, 20, 10 on 10. I believe that's how it works. Again, haven't played around too much with it. Walker Assault, that is essentially the mode that we got back in the beta, that we'll come back to it, where it's basically Rebel versus Imperial. The Imperials have walkers going towards a target, and you're trying to take them down beforehand by capturing certain points. Supremacy is just this massive, massive battle. I believe using minor control points and vehicles and whatnot quite a bit. Think Walker Assault, but without necessarily quite as much objective-based stuff. Again, Blast is the one that was recommended a second ago. Cargo, you're protecting your cargo. You're trying to steal the other team's cargo, so it's almost like a capture the flag-ish type thing. Drop Zone, sort of a point capture type of situation where basically you're playing with these escape pods that come crashing down, or supply pods that come crashing down, and you're trying to get control of them and keep it for long enough that it times out and you get whatever's inside. Droid Run, again, droids to capture and hold, as mentioned up there. Fighter Squadron, already mentioned there. Hero Hunt, somebody is a hero, everybody else is the enemy, and you're trying not to get your ass killed. And then Heroes versus Villains, it's combat side to side, but the heroes are immediately involved instead of being something where they're only through power-ups. Notice there is a key. Heroes available, vehicles available, and max players. You can sort of tell which mode you want to get into. I do want to point out that Walker Assault, as it loads, yeah, it's a little full right now. Wow, it's having some trouble. Let me back out of Walker Assault. Walker Assault plays out pretty much similar to the beta. They've said they're going to try to make this more balanced, but remember the beta was basically an almost finished version of the game. That's what a beta is. So hopefully, as they go along, if they see these balance issues, they'll be instituting patches. Like this has already had, I believe, a patch 1.02. They'll go through and do some minor patches to make it a little bit more balanced. Or maybe the fact that people know how the heck to use a freaking air speeder or snow speeder with that tutorial will make it more balanced just right from the get-go. You got Drop Zone. And again, it's looking for games. All of these can cycle through different maps, again, on the different planets. There's 4 planets. That doesn't mean there's only 4 maps. It means there's 4 styles of maps, so to speak. The different modes have different sized maps to use with slightly different layouts. So think of it kind of like I'm a Destiny player. Think of it with Destiny, you've got Venus, Mars, the Moon, Earth, and so on. And these different maps for the different multiplayer games doesn't necessarily mean that if you go to Mars, you're always playing on that same map. You may be in a different part of Mars on a different map, but it's still technically the same planet. Same kind of deal here. And you do get to choose your map if you so desire. So for instance, let's go with Walker Assault. Walker Assault, we had assumed, I guess, just sort of based on the different live streams and stuff going on from the beta, that it was just it's just a Hoth thing. But no. A Walker Assault can be played on all 4 of the locations. Cargo, we were only able to play on Sullust back in the beta. You can play it on multiple locations. Okay. And then, of course, I go back to missions and survival. As I mentioned, we only had survival on Tatooine in the beta. So, a lot more options here. The question is, will it be able to really garner a lot of attention? Will it be able to have the longevity of a game that has more stuff to unlock, or that has more progression or a story system to it? This really feels like a game designed for casual gamers to jump in, play a little bit, jump out. And for me, I like that, because it gives you a chance to do other things and talk about other things as you're playing, rather than freaking out and getting your ass kicked all the time. That said, that's what I think has made it not really what a lot of gamers had hoped for the next big Star Wars game, the next big next-gen Star Wars game beyond Disney Infinity. Because what we have here is a game that is a Battlefront game with no story. And there were a lot of people that said, well, it's Battlefront, it's not supposed to have a story. Well, 2 did, albeit a light one. Renegade Squadron did, Elite Squadron did. So basically, anybody who says that Battlefront can't have a story is full of shit, because they're only referring back to Battlefront 1 to make that type of comment, or 2 on PSP because they stripped out the campaign mode for the portable version of it. But that sort of leads into what we're going to be doing with this stream as we go. And I'll just pop on to, I've been playing, fooling around here, just giving you some details long enough. It's going to pop into Beggar's Canyon so you can see something I was going to point out. I've already got the 3 stars on this one, but each mission does have stars that you can earn when it comes to this mission section. And as you get the stars, you're getting credits and so on as you go, and the credits help you buy more stuff to work with your loadouts, again, with your non-class characters. They said they did that because they want to make sure that no matter what type of character you wanted to play as, you'd be able to play as any race, either gender, or any gender these days, I suppose. I wonder, can you be Twi'lek and identify as a Sullustan? Anyway, if you are wanting to play, say, as a Twi'lek rebel, then it doesn't matter, because you can have the same choices amongst many, many different weapons and different card types of anyone else. As you play, you can also play with a partner. You can set yourself up with a party of 8 and one person in your party as your partner, who you can spawn next to as an option anytime you spawn in multiplayer. One of the interesting things about it is you set up 2 different sets of cards, 2 different hands with those 3 cards for each time you play. The first one you set up, the one that's in hand slot 1, when you play with a partner, your partner has access to. So let's say that I'm playing with somebody who has unlocked something that I don't have. If they've got it as one of their cards in their first hand and they are my partner when we play, not only do they show up differently on the map, but I can have access to those cards even though I don't actually own them. Lets me have a chance to play around with them before I decide which ones to spend my hard-earned credits on. I do mean actual credits in the game. Republic credits? Republic credits on no... Yeah. Better not be good anymore. It's the friggin' Empire. Confederate dollars aren't good anymore in the United States. I love using the... It's an absolutely gorgeous game. It is the most photorealistic Star Wars game we've ever seen. It's one of the best looking games of this console generation. It is fantastic looking, fantastic sounding, real resources used to be able to pull this off from Lucasfilm. Also, when it comes to... There we go. When it comes to the sound, it's very hard, of course, to get Star Wars wrong unless you've got weird music, and they do that every once in a while. Notice here, though, I'm slowing down and speeding up. Yeah, I don't actually need to stay low. Whatever. This is not just a speed indicator down there on the bottom. Okay, you've got the one indicator in gray. That's your health. And by the way, let me just show you this. These things cannot take a hit. Okay, if you smack yourself into a wall, there is no bouncing off like in Rogue Squadron or something. You are just dead immediately. You do have a certain number of lives, by the way. It's not an automatic fail, but it's not a constantly continue type of situation. The hearts represent, you know, Zelda style almost, the hearts represent the number of lives that you have. Up there at the top, you've also got a counter on how much time you're spending. In this particular mode, it's all your game data up there, along with your objective. But notice down there at the bottom, above my life meter, that's right now at 100%. There's this thing that keeps, as I'm going faster and slower, it keeps going from yellow to orange, left and right. They have set up... Yeah, I wasn't in the canyon. What they've done is they've sort of taken a cue from the Star Wars films in that, you know, it's like, divert all power to the rear deflectors, divert all power to, divert all power, divert all power, divert all freaking power. The way this works, and this is not explained in the game from what I understand, is that when you push the left stick upward, your speed increases. But pushing your speed, not really paying attention here, pushing your speed winds up taking away from the power of your weapons. At the same time, going down in your speed shifts power to the weapons, and your weapons become stronger. Basically, because you're diverting power within the ship's systems. Okay? So in this case, for instance, it's not just advantageous to slow down to fight an enemy if you need to make if they're, you know, zipping by you and need to make a quick turn. It also is advantageous because the lower your speed, the more power is put to your cannons to blow these suckers up. Whoa! You also have... Oh! I have switched views. Down switches views. Here's the thing, guys are gonna die? Yes. That's what happens when you're not paying attention. Yeah. Alright. Now, for these types of vehicles, well, for any vehicle, you are going across vehicle repair power-ups to increase the health, so to speak, of the vehicle. It does not regenerate. When you're just running around as an individual, yes, your health does regenerate, which is something new for Battlefront. Just like when you're playing with heroes, and ships, those are all handled in a new way. It's why I said that it really doesn't feel like this plays a lot like old Battlefront games. If I were to want to pick up a hero in a match, I would have to pick up a hero power-up. I don't have to earn it. I just gotta go find it and activate it. Vehicles are not found just anywhere on the map. Nope. You gotta get a power-up for a vehicle, which is what make Walker Assaults suck if you got people who have no idea how to use an airspeeder. There, I'm actually paying at least a marginal amount of attention. Okay. So really, it's just one of these things where they've changed the mechanics up. It seems like it's more for casual fans, casual gamers. Excuse me. But it's something new that we'll have to get used to if you're fans of the old games. Most of my other issues that I had with the combat as individuals on the ground, slow down, crank up the power, like when you're just a regular character instead of in a vehicle, I found that most of the issues I have with that, like the fact that your jumps suck and don't really go anywhere, are actually a matter of the Frostbite 3 engine, because the same thing is the case with Battlefield 4. Alright, now I can actually start paying attention. You have lock-on. As I'm chasing these guys, you can lock on with your vehicle. And once they're locked in, and it links, you can hit your button to launch your torpedoes, which didn't do me any good there because I didn't continue holding down the lock. You have shields you can activate for temporary boosts to protect you, and so on and so on. You get the picture. Come on. Go! Crash! Okay. It did charge up enough. I'll show you a quick actual lock on. Ah! Broke the lock. Yeah, it's kind of a pain to maintain lock. Anyway, so what we want to do with this, what the plan is to do with this, I'll jump to survival so you can see some on-foot gameplay here while I finish out what this one was planned to do. And again, this was planned in part just to kind of introduce you to me, a little bit about the game and the options so that we don't have to focus on that in the other live streams, but also I want to give you a sense of what it is that we're planning to do with this. As I said, I've been a podcaster for many, many years now. I've been a podcaster as long as I've been a teacher. I started teaching in August of 2002. I started podcasting in May of 2002. So I've been in the community for a while. And I found that a lot of my fellow Star Wars podcasters are going to be playing this, and many of them are going to be playing on PlayStation 4. So our hope is that while this live stream and maybe some of the others will be more like guides and just kind of informal things and chances to ask questions in the chat and whatnot, that many of these won't be just me, maybe just me in the box. And instead, I'll have other people within the party chat as part of this who are from the Star Wars fan community and many from the Star Wars podcasting community. So I can tell you, for instance, we're just going to check out Tatooine and see how it's different since this is the one that we had in the beta. You can't choose difficulty now, by the way, which is nice. You couldn't do that in the beta. Time to die from not paying attention. Hell yeah. I know for sure that Mark Hurleman, once he has a PS4, which he's planning to get, and has Battlefront, he'll be hopping on with these. So it'll be sort of a Star Wars Beyond the Films live stream version because we're the two hosts of that. I know that Michael Morris is getting that PlayStation 4 Vader-themed thing, that special bundle, so that he can be playing. He'll be on that. He is from Cloud City Casino, which is the official gaming podcast of StarWarsReport.com. And hopefully Bruce Gibson will eventually be able to get on. He is also someone from Cloud City Casino. Jim Perry will be somebody I would like to have on from 49ers Fancast. He's done a Codename Starkeeper in the Star Wars community. Things are looking up. Adventures of Indiana Jim. One cool thing about this, by the way, is that as you play, depending on what is happening in the game and who's winning, who's losing in multiplayer, for instance, you will see the circumstances in the battle in space or in the sky above you actually change, which I thought was pretty cool. They actually point out how that works in the guide, not something the game necessarily ever points out. Oh, there we go. There's my blast tech. Victory! Exclusive! Alright, that's regular. And for some reason, as if I want to do this all the time and not just make people think that my character's having a freaking seizure, then I can do that. Okay. Oh, I don't have my... I didn't select my correct hand. Or, well, I'm not in the multiplayer hand anyway. Oh, crap, there's nothing automatic about it. Better not get my ass kicked. Funny, Daniel. Yeah, it says, when is the next episode coming out? I had to lay down the law recently because somebody kept asking the same question over and over again on the page for Rebels Roundtable. When is the next episode coming out? After I had answered it, earlier that day for the exact same person. So had to get to a point where I just said, you know what, we're done. But yeah, so they'll be on, hopefully. I actually really want to have Jim on because Jim is someone who I have disagreed with about this game quite a bit. But it's because he and I look at it different ways. He is someone who looks at it as Star Wars first, gaming second, as I talked about earlier, whereas I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of both. And then Jeff Kinda hopefully will be able to be on, the man who coined that phrase about it being the best looking, laziest game in years. So hopefully he can come on, and he's from the other perspective, someone who really likes the to look at the gameplay aspect first and hopes that it will be groundbreaking in that sense. Alright, let me kill these guys here. But the idea is that we won't just be talking about the game as we do that. Think of it sort of as a podcasting experience that happens to have a live stream also going at the same time. Kind of like some podcasters record podcasts and then they put them on YouTube with video just from the game that they're talking about as a separate thing. Like I listen to Destiny the Show, and their YouTube releases have the exact audio of their podcast, which is recorded separately, I believe, but then along with it, they've got gameplay, usually of Crucible matches from Destiny. Okay, so something like that. Yes, they are. Closest thing to a decent jump you got, by the way. Jump pack. So we'll play through this one survival thing and call it a day here. This is also, though, where the audience comes in. Because if you're in the live stream, while we're doing one of these, and we've got the little window up here, we'll be able to see what you're saying, and you could toss out topics for us to talk about when it comes to Star Wars topics, or otherwise, I guess. Same thing can be said for the YouTube channel or the Facebook pages for the different shows, for Rebels Roundtable or for Beyond the Films or for whatever, to be able to say, hey, I'd like you to talk about this when you guys are playing the next live stream, because a live stream is something that it takes a little more time to just sit down and do because you're sitting in front of the gaming system, but there's no editing time, right? It's just live stream and it's on there. It's just uncensored, unfiltered. That's just all that it is. So it gives us a chance to have some unfiltered discussions with those of you who are interested, which I think would be kind of neat. Now, you notice here that I do have a full hand, because this is a single-player thing. All right, capture the pod. It counted down. It's going to spit out some goodies. One at a time. I have a quad shield. Lovely. Not sure how much good that's going to do me. I have my ion gun here. That ion it's the one that uses the charge. The one that says hold triangle there amongst my hand. Oh, and I'm out. I'm out. Quick, give me something good. Orbital strike. Yeah, that'll be nice. Blow this mofo up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Massive reinforcements. Dude, you gotta quit smoking, especially since you're a fish and, fire and water don't mix. Nice little heart there is what I'm going for, so I can have another life. Because I got a feeling I'm gonna die. But at least now I'm paying marginal attention. So far, pretty much what we saw in the beta. At least in this particular thing, because this was the map that was in the beta. Now I'll show you guys something about the so-called reloading here, if I can do it from a place of relative safety. Man! Come on. I said relative safety, damn it! That doesn't mean try to kill my ass. Smack, you do have a melee attack. Feels kind of weak, just like the jumping feels kind of weak, but again, that's the same thing that Battlefield 4 has. It's a question of the engine. Die. Okay. So, Okay, so for instance, I go boom, boom, boom. You notice that it's heating up underneath the reticle. And now it's like, oh, I can't do anything. It's because of when I hit the square button. You notice when it heats up and it's like, oh crap, it's burning up my hand. There's little yellow spots underneath on that little arc. If I were to hit square while it's in the yellow spots, I basically get an immediate recharge or reload. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Overheat, dang it. See? Like that. That precision reload thing that some first-person shooters have had. Which is not something, again, that was made particularly clear in the beta, so there were some folks frustrated with, like, well, there's no reloading! Well, right, there's no reloading. You gotta conserve your ammo in the sense that you don't want it to overheat, but there is a way around that if you make a mistake. But, interestingly enough, it gets more difficult every time you have to do that. Which I thought was kind of cool. Oh, jet troopers, where's Galen Merrick when we need him? There's too many of them. And actually, Daniel, to answer your question seriously about when the next episode's coming out, Rebels Roundtable, I am right now waiting for Jonathan to send me, or resend, because it messed up the first time, send me our raw recording from Always Two There Are. I have actually finished up the main edits for our episode on Brothers of the Broken Horn, and we record about Wings of the Master tonight, actually. Me, Barrett, Jonathan, and hopefully Brock, as sort of a guest so that we can have a group of 4. Only 2 enemies left. You can see that up on the top amongst the various objectives. Oh, he has a jetpack. I was like, is he gonna commit suicide? No. And zip, zip, zip. Boom! Again, just like Force Unleashed. Suicide, it's a suicide. Whoever, suicide, it's a suicide. Nobody else around here probably has ever listened to the soundtrack for the Tales from the Crypt Demon Knights, so I should probably stop trying to act like anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about with that song. Just saying. Brace yourselves, your teeth are crooked! I gotta find some other way not to smack the microphone there. Okay, enemy walker detected. What wave am I even on? 6. Okay, so now we're theoretically beyond where the whatchamacallit. What the hell is that? It's a creature. Oh, crap. I don't know what that thing was. Unless it's a collectible. Should be nice to see some type of further, further development of these maps. There you go, yeah. The jump troopers, or whatever you call them, are only necessarily able to be blasted when they're in the air. Otherwise, they got those shields on, and you don't have the force to blast them away. At least not normally. Again, step back, step out of the line of fire. If I freaking... Oh, well, that would explain that. There's an ATST on your ass. Claim the pod, get some goodies, maybe some decent power-ups. ATST's on its way, so let's go ahead and deploy the vehicle turret. Get down here. Thought I was doing... No Connery on that one. Although I like doing the Connery thing. Although my Connery is less actual Connery and more like... Oh God, what is his name? Daryl Hammond doing Connery on Celebrity Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live. So, you know. Alright, whoa! What the... I thought I fell off the map. Apparently I did not fall off the... Alright, I got enough shots to take a few pot shots with this guy. Save myself from running out. Alright, R1 is like a... It's like a cluster bomb kind of thing. Although I think with the way I just use it there, it's a cluster something else. Just saying. Okay. Up, and apparently I'm a woman. You see what I just got shot? You went, ah. So I'm either a woman or I'm Michael Jackson. One of the two. Michael Jackson, richest white woman in history. That's ignorant. Come on. Trying to get around to get to some of those power-ups again so I can use one of them on the ATST, but this map is apparently bigger than I thought. Mother... As Bugs Bunny would say. Just piss off. Alright, up. I didn't time it right. Oh, serious. Die. I could have sworn that in the beta, the last of the waves, the 5th wave, was the one that had the ATST, so maybe they've changed that up just a little bit. Alright, let's get over here, get a power up. What do I got? Quad shield. Wonderful. Yeah, not so wonderful because the quad shield's not going to be that good. Holy crap. Did you see that? My jump was worth a shit for once. I'm amazed. Yeah, not a big fan of the way that Frostbite 3 handles jumps, if you haven't figured that out yet. Mainly because I'm used to playing games like Destiny lately, and in those types of games, the maps are very vertical. So jumping is a huge, huge part of your gameplay. Whereas in this case, not so much. Man, shoot me from way over there while I get shot by your buddies. Alright, so I'll just come down here and shoot you. Spank you. Spank you so much. Oh, I keep forgetting I've already got something. quad shield ain't worth crap to me. Vehicle turret, yeah, I'll wait till the ATST comes out for that sucker. Yeah. What's up, communist? Being all red and shit? I'm about to get my butt kicked if I don't sit back in here and let my health regen for a second. What? That was weird. So your health doesn't regenerate while you're inside the shield. That's an interesting thing to know. Aye! Shit! Next.
Incoming enemy units. Watch out for those stormtroopers homing rockets.
Uh-oh, homing rockets. That's not good.
Defense position.
I don't know. Whoa, and there goes the shield. Whee! Mother! It's interesting, I have yet to find a place where you can fall off the map. Except, you know, up on the top. We have 8 out of 15. It's gonna be a long day. What the hell is that? I still want to know what that is. It's like the one place it shows up. It's this little flying thing. We'll find out something weird about the Star Wars universe. Hey, there's a collectible of some kind up there. No, we'll find out something weird about the Star Wars universe. Like, that's actually bantha semen. Because, like, they do some kind of weird pollination instead of sexual reproduction. How's that for and with your head for the night? There's another one! Ah! Bye! Oh, what you are? Die! 2 more. And apparently no ATST this round, which is nice.
All clear.
Y'all clear, kids, so yeah.
Send you a drop pod.
I kind of like where he says you're all clear, kids, so let's blow this thing and go home. I like the use of that word. Not me, Clinton. Before anybody got any ideas.
Indicate another enemy wave. ATST detected.
Come on. I guess I meant Bill. Bill is the skilled one. Not so much Hillary. Whee!
Defensive position. They're coming in again.
Oh, is it bad to say Wii because that's the one current gen system that you can't actually play this on? Is it bad to say Wii or Wii U or anything like that? No? Alright. I was trying to get close to you guys. I'll play the long game and get something out the pod. Really just need the stupid ATST to show up. Oh. Good! That's kind of what I was waiting for, to set up that vehicle turret. Vehicle turret, now! Run like a girl! Or not a girl in this current incarnation of Star Wars. Run like Padme, barefoot and pregnant, doing nothing in Episode 3!
The Imperials are securing the area around that escape pod. We need to stop them.
What? Oh. Get off of me. Get off my pod, bro.
The escape pod will soon be in our hands.
Ah, well. Alright, well, apparently that didn't do quite as much good as I had hoped to that ATST. It helped, but not nearly as much as I had hoped it would. Uh-oh. You think Nathan Butler gonna die? Where are you running? Oh. You're running from Big Boy. Ah, shoot. I didn't hit the button fast enough. Or at the right time, I guess. Ugh, give me something. Give me something good. Come on, something I can use. Something I can use. Something I can use. Infantry turret. Sure. Why not? I'm still gonna probably die in a second, though. What is your health, damn near? Oh. Yep, saw it coming. Couldn't get away from him fast enough.
Don't get discouraged. You can still win this battle.
As long as you've still got hearts, still got the lives, you can keep going where you left off in the wave. That's one good thing. You don't wind up having to restart the entire stinking wave over again. Can you get stepped on by the ATST? You know, I honestly have never tried. I will say when I was doing indoor chase with the speeder bike, I found that even when I tried to run into my own ATSTs as a biker scout, it wasn't working very well. So I'm assuming that there's at least a little bit of leeway to try to make sure that you're not going to get destroyed by accident by a vehicle. Unless it's actually shooting at you. Alright, now I don't know how good this turret is going to be, but we're going to find out. Okay. Apparently, since this infantry turret, it must only target infantry. Or I'm supposed to pick it up and use it myself, even though the thing is rotating on its own. Either way, not good for me. Oh, there's a power thing over here by the weird flying sperm. Awesome. There we go, another vehicle turret. That'll... who was it used to say it? Yep, that'll do it. Eat turret! Is it dead? Son of a motherless goat! It's still not dead! Alright, fighting with the pistol at long range, not such a good idea. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh. Where are you going? There we go. That's realistic. Taking out an ATST with the freaking blaster. Yeah, it's real realistic. As if there's such a thing as real Star Wars, so I believe that is a time for a nerd. Which, you know, true dat.
Elite Shadow Troopers reported in the zone.
They're in the zone? Great, so they're at their best. Wah, wah. There we go. Get back that life that I lost a minute ago. Come now, you're a Star Wars fan. Have you ever had a life? Look at some of the coverage of that the new film is getting on places, and I hate to say it, like Fox News that usually I will check out alongside MSNBC because it's got the alternate perspective, but damn, they really played up the, well, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're just a nerd, which is funny because of all the Star Wars references they've used over the years, but yeah, whatever. Oh, I see a Shadow Trooper. I see you. Oh. Oh, I keep forgetting I'm not playing Destiny. That is not a grenade button. That is the jump, pack, whatever it is button. I kill you. And now Al Sharpton enters the scene because a white man, or a white woman in this case with a blaster, just gunned down a black stormtrooper, a shadow trooper. Black trooper lives matter. Again, you know, I guess in Star Wars you wouldn't even be able to do it as Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, or anything like that. It would have to be like Sentient Lives Matter. But then you'd still have controversy because people would be like, well, what about the non-sentient? I think the Banthas matter too. And it would just keep going on and on and on because you can never please all the people all the time. Alright, one enemy left. And is apparently over here somewhere. Whee! Oh, there's a charge though, which is good because I'm down to 2 charges for my ion whatever. Where is he? He just ran away. Who is... where you at? There you are.
The Imperials won't soon forget that.
Over here, come on!
No, not that one. It's not as funny. I wanted to do that over his body. There you go. You've heard of teabagging or dancing on someone's body? Go over there and just have a seizure over their body. because that's politically correct. It's just, oh, I guess I haven't even played anything in third person. There's third person mode for you. which would have told me very early on that I was apparently a woman. Oh. Grenade these guys. I love the animations. The animations on these characters are fantastic. I mean, graphically, oh, they can cloak. Graphically, this game is fantastic. Game mode-wise, yeah, a lot of the game modes feel like they're basically just Star Wars reskinned over modes we've seen a million times before, except for a couple of them. Even the vehicle combat is similar to something in a recent Battlefront or Battlefield game. But it nails the atmosphere perfectly. Oh, I didn't know you could swap. That's nice. Now, ooh, proximity bomb. Alright. When you're close to somebody and you tell a joke that doesn't work, it's a proximity bomb. Hurrah! Holy shit! Mother. Okay, proximity bomb. Okay. Okay, well that didn't do any good. I thought I was going to sit down a proximity bomb that was going to then do something. Yeah, not so much. Okay, there's a capture pod. Or whatever you call it. I need to get over to the pod. See if it's got something I can use. And I keep going up here as if I can run around there. And it's gonna get me killed! Quick jump! With your little ineffective, pansy little jump. Your battlefield jump, to be fair. I'm so used to being able to jump and hit the button again to do a double jump or a hover or something. Alright, so there's the pod up there. Alright. Get to it without getting killed. Whee! Oh, shit! Oh, and that did me no good, did it? No good at all. Oh, crap! Enemy locked on. I guess what? Run? How am I supposed to deal with... Oh, and I can't get across there either. Shit! Not even trying to kill anybody. I'm just trying to stay alive long enough to get to frickin' pod. Alright, we're down to 14. Can he just sit for a second and get it all back? Oh, and the ATST is on its way. Ah, damn it. This is the other side of that same freaking gorge that I keep finding myself on. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, bye. Whee! Now I can get up there. There you go. My jumping in this game compared to an Olympian is kind of like... oh gosh, what's his name? Sanjaya versus a real singer, you know? My jump game, not so good.
Imperials are taking that escape pod.
Eat it. Basically, by the way, this whole thing with the, I get the escape pod and I'm waiting for it to count down, but then the Imperials can get the escape pod and wait for it to count down for them to deactivate for me and all that stuff. That's basically the way that the drop zone works. That game mode. Oh, don't make me run all the way back around. Take some ion. I got my eye on you. Alright. Let's get back over here. I was doing... Alright. I was doing much better when I was first person, but whatever. Which is funny because I used to only play third-person shooters, because first-person shooters would make me motion sick. Really, really bad. Oh! I did not just do that. You did not see that. At least there's a back way up there, though. It's like you miss your turn on the interstate, which around here, Atlanta area, is very easy to do. Shit! Oh, you're kidding. Fine, I'll put up the shield. That's not what I wanted, though. Give me something I can use as an offensive weapon. Oh, screw it. Just give me a infantry turret again. So, nothing I can really use. Fan-friggin-tastic. They'll give me some charges for my ion gun, I guess. Alright. At least he's the only one left alive. Or functioning, whatever. Yeah, regular blasters are kind of crap against them, but it's all I got. Until that thing... Well, no, I got the little thingy now. Boom, boom, boom. Thinking to back myself up into a corner, but I didn't. Oh crap, where'd he go now? There he is. Yep, I get to find out. Apparently, the answer is you can get stepped on by an ATST. So, Flyboy Jock 87, there is your answer. Let's see, where am I going for opening night for The Force Awakens? You know, actually, I haven't got my ticket yet because the place that I usually go is a place called Cinemark Tinseltown 17 in Fayetteville, Georgia. Which is relatively close and not as insanely crowded as one would expect in Atlanta. And they're apparently undergoing renovations, so the furthest they have advanced ticket sales set up is basically later this week. And every week they're updating it. So I'm hoping it will be there on opening day or opening night. I actually have to work that morning. It's officially the last day of school for our county for this semester, but the online classes that I teach actually end a week early, but we still have a meeting that day for like final paperwork and such. So I'm hoping that everything will work out. My wife and I will be able to actually go on opening day or opening night. And then I'm hoping, beyond hope, unofficially of course, that sometime shortly thereafter somebody will be like, "Hey man, how you doing? You want that bootleg?" And I'll be able to watch it at home. That's actually how I knew, probably the reason why I've watched Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones so little on home video compared to Revenge of the Sith, because there was a guy that I worked with who had bootleg copies of those fairly early and would constantly bring them to work and watch them on the back work computer. So it was like, oh, you want to watch some Star Wars? Yeah, let's watch some prequel. But then I didn't work there, and that wasn't the case by the time of Episode 3. By the time of that, I was living in the Atlanta area. And somebody's going back doing the math going, I wonder where he worked. Just kidding, FBI, just kidding. Or NSA, I guess. Oh, for the love of God, come on. These weapons are crap to be able to try to bring down an ATST, and there are no more pods. My power-ups turned out to be shit. Can we just kill the damn ATST and move on to the next part? My plan was not for this live stream to go beyond an hour, and we are already at an hour and 9. And I still have potentially 3 more waves to go unless I lose all my lives in the process. Probably won't reach him, will it? Nope. Even if I had aimed correctly, it wouldn't have reached him. Alright, where's some power-ups around here? I could have sworn I saw some power-up symbols a second ago. Hell if I know where they are, though. They're kind of hard to see. Leave me alone! Oh, no rocket pack. That just became a desperate maneuver. Mother... Trying very hard not to get frustrated and annoyed with running around in circles looking for friggin' power-ups that can do a damn bit of damage to this guy. Of course, he's probably thinking the same thing. Just die already! You rebel scum! You beer-swilling pig! You son of a motherless goat! Come on! There you go!
Remain vigilant.
Don't lose your head!
The enemy is preparing another assault. Excellent.
Shit, where is that from? Okay, now I need to figure out where that's from. Don't lose your head! Oh no, that's Three Musketeers. D'Artagnan, don't lose your head when he's about to get executed. That's what it is. Amen, Josh. See, I'm at work. I'm at home, which is basically work, unless I have a meeting now that I'm teaching online. It just happens to be after hours time, because this is the time when my students are usually on the buses going home and eating, so they usually don't get back online until about 6 o'clock. Which is nice, gives me a little bit of time still. Eastern time. Die, 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 die. Oh yeah, that probably didn't reach him. Oh wow, it did. Color me impressed. Is there a pod this time? I didn't see one. Oh, almost fell. That would have been stupid. Die, you sand trooper. Even though I'm wearing one of your headsets, apparently. Oh! What the hell was that? That was interesting. Or I guess in the words from Last Starfighter, what the shit? I kill you! Didn't I kill you? Bad Boys reference, although he doesn't say kill in Bad Boys, he's saying something else. How do I feel about Shadow Troopers? It's interesting. I mean, the thing about this game is that, from everything that I've been made to understand, talking to Pablo Hidalgo and others, is that this game is basically designed to be, I mean, like any of the Star Wars games are essentially designed to be authentic Star Wars experiences, but they're not necessarily checking them to be part of canon. So, if it exists within the Star Wars universe, Legends or otherwise, it seems like it makes sense for it to be here. I do like the fact that they can cloak. So, it's kind of a neat mechanic to add in here. They got to find something, because otherwise you're constantly fighting this, what is it that all the Empire knows is killing in white uniforms, as Randall Graves would say? Well, you know, it'd be only white uniforms unless we have something like Shadow Troopers to change it up if you're playing as a rebel. Oh, I kill you. Boom, boom. Man down. I'm sorry, that's not gender appropriate. You mean person down, don't you? Okay, didn't plan on falling down there, but alright. Alright, wave 14, 5+ enemies. I love how when it's 5+, it doesn't actually tell you how many, it just says 5+. You know, like they couldn't fit a 2-digit number inside that little thing. Missile incoming! And where are you seeing that? Are you seeing it on a HUD somewhere? Is it happening up in your brain? Alright, we're going back to first person. Alright, thank you very much. I kill you! And last guy before... What? Where are you going? And why are you walking like that? Did you just get you some? What are you doing? Maybe it's not a seizure. Maybe it's like the derp face for this game. Alright, what's next?
We're picking up another escape
A
pod.
pod!
Secure that area and the pod.
Podcasting. Pods to collect. Coincidence? I think so. Whee! Oh! Well, that didn't go so good.
What? What's that about an ATST?
We're securing.
You're breaking up there.
Not a big fan of this map, the mini-map, but I am getting used to it. It's kind of like the mini-map for Destiny. It takes some getting used to because it's not like a standard style map, but it works. It works well enough. Yes. No shit. Ah, they're taking my pod. Well, there's the ATST.
Scanners picked up an ATST. Location up your...
Well, rectal cavity. My rectum doesn't have cavities. There ain't even no teeth up in there.
We're capturing the escape pod.
Come on, people. Come on, Imperial people. Put your hands in the air, wave them like you don't care, and die. Uh-oh. Speaking of dying, I should probably take care not to. Not so much. Let's see. Would I like Kylo Ren here? Well, I mean, at this point, it's all classic trilogy characters, and it's all classic trilogy era. Sorry, bump. Be interesting to see them, but at this point,
What are you?
it'd be interesting. But at this point, even the Battle of Jakku probably won't involve much in the way of new characters because the Battle of Jakku only takes place 1 year after Return of the Jedi. So we're looking at a gap of, what, 29 years between that and The Force Awakens, so probably a good chunk of the new characters won't even have been born yet. That's kind of a cool sound. I still don't feel like the blasters have a lot of heft. None of these weapons really feel like they have a lot of oomph to them in terms of the feel, in terms of feedback on the controller and just the gameplay itself. Ah, they took my pod. I'm looking for the man who took my pod. Well, let's see. Maybe I can take out that ATST with a ion whatever if I get enough charges here. Or I can just run around in circles again like an idiot. Hello? Hello? Oh, there he is. Sweet. He just kind of chilling down now. Up. Oh, yeah? You're the only one left. I'm not even going to bother wasting blaster gas on you. I was about to say blaster ammo, but I mean, it's not like there's really ammo per se, or blaster bolts, blaster bullets. I am, when talking about the new characters, I am looking forward to seeing Kylo Ren and Finn and Rey and Poe all in Disney Infinity 3.0 sometime soon. And that actually... Oh, there's my phone. Probably a telemarketer again. That is actually something that I have a video series on. If you haven't checked it out on the channel here, a guide to Disney Infinity for Star Wars fans. There you go. That would include some breakdowns of those. And I'm actually very interested in seeing if they tie the Battle of Jakku DLC at all into Lost Stars. Because, you know, the Lost Stars novel gives us the background of the crashed Star Destroyer on Jakku that we see in the trailers for The Force Awakens. But will they actually take the time to tie it in within the game, or will that just be something happening in the background, or what? That I want to see. Let's see. What is the strangest thing from Legends that they brought into canon? Jar Jar? No. You know, honestly, it doesn't seem like there's a lot that they brought over. I think the strangest thing about what they're doing with canon right now is that they're retelling certain stories so quickly. I mean, like, the fact that they haven't retold the Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell at some point boggles my mind, because it seems like they've hit a ton of other stuff just kind of repeatedly. Do I think I'll get it in Livestream Super Star Wars? I don't know, honestly. I've played Super Star Wars years ago. I actually had it on the Super Nintendo, and then I had it on the Wii Virtual Console. I don't know if I want to do the self-torture of playing all the way through it again, just because those were pretty difficult games. And, I mean, you can see how bad I'm getting my butt kicked half the time on this game when I'm not paying complete attention. But I may. It depends. At this point, I've live streamed a little bit of LEGO Dimensions to show off the Doctor Who level. Where'd he go? There you is. And I've played this, of course, so... You know, there'll be other stuff that I live stream. I just don't know what beyond this and Disney Infinity just yet. But hopefully, if I do wind up getting it, I will absolutely play it. I'm curious if the debug mode works. I loved the debug mode on all those old Super Star Wars games where you could just set up your settings and go to town killing the enemies and just blazing through in ways that made no logical story sense. But hey, at least those games had story. Huh? Ooh, somewhere EA and DICE are crying. Let's see, out of the new 6 that are coming in this game as DLC, what would I like to see in the game? You know, I honestly don't know what they're going to be doing with the DLC just yet. I'd like to see anything that adds any story content, but I doubt it. I'd like to see some new planets, because by the time the first DLC comes out, I'm sure we'll probably be tired of Sullust, Tatooine, Hoth, and Endor being the only ones. It just depends. I mean, I don't know. A lot of multiplayer games tend to just add maps. Sometimes it's new collections of weapons. Sometimes it's new things to spruce up your characters. EA has a tendency to go with the pay-to-win route, so probably some very powerful weapons. There you go. Done. Wait. Yeah! Finally get to actually use the victory emote for something that actually matters, right? Where have you been all this freaking time? And why is there a Star Destroyer crash that looks like Jakku when we're on Tatooine? That's just going to confuse the hell out of people even more. But that's what I mean by that dynamic battle in the background. The ships showing up and which ones show up makes a difference on how far you are. So 15 waves, 128 enemies defeated. Oh my god, that was a lot. Felt like longer. 14 headshots out of 128. Ouch. 3 lives used, 4 lives picked up, so net 1 life for whatever it matters. 44 minutes on 1 survival mode. And I didn't get bored with it. I think I get bored with it doing it over and over again, but with 3 different maps to go on, I think that could actually be something fun. Now, if you look at the different stars here, this is something that be useful when I actually start breaking out the guide to play, and maybe I'll provide a guide to these as part of the live stream. You notice there at the bottom, there's collectibles on these individual maps for the single-player / co-op maps. So if I can find all of them, that can get me 400 credits as a reward. No deaths will get you a reward, but it has to be on hard difficulty, which is difficult. I would imagine this being something where maybe you'd want to do that as a co-op. And then the different difficulty levels, normal, hard, and master, all give you different amounts of credits. And as you go through, you're earning stars. And the stars do accumulate. Like last night when I did... Actually, I can show you here. I mean, I'm not going to play the mode, but I'll show you the specifics before I sign off here. As that's loading, question from That One Jedi says, how do I like it? You know, we're talking about this game. It's fun in bursts. It's a fun, immersive Star Wars experience. It is brainless fun, though. It is mindless fun. There is no story to follow there. The strategy is kind of here or there, depending on who you're playing with, especially if it's a mode like Walker Assault versus something like that, where it's just survival, just straight killing. I would have loved to see story in it, but we're not going to see that, apparently. A lot of the modes in multiplayer do feel like reskins of multiplayer modes we've seen in other games, but again, that's most multiplayer games. The question is, do they have any modes that stand out as something different? And in this case, Walker Assault in particular is something different, and Heroes, to an extent, is something different. I don't think it's going to be a game for everybody. I really don't. That said, though, I think it's worth picking up and checking out, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad I picked up the guide and the headset and everything, but remember, for me, the experience is kind of like 50% the game and 50% the experience of being able to do the live streams and do the podcasting style thing, where I'll be able to bring on people like Michael and Mark and so on to be able to be part of this and discuss Star Wars topics and discuss Star Wars stuff with you all when you're popping up in the chat. So you know, for me, it's worth it. Would I have thought it worth it if I bought the one that had the Han Solo mini fridge? Probably not. But then again, I've already spent, let's see, 35 plus 70 plus season pass of 50. I think I've spent enough on this game. So, oh wait, no, and these, thankfully these were a birthday gift from my wife, but these were about 100 by themselves. So, yeah, I think I've given EA plenty of money on this so far. Anyway, what I was going to show you here under training, when I was doing indoor chase, the indoor chase is a speeder bike chase, and you've got job done, 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, of course, and defeat them, which is basically destroy 5 rebels and make your way to the finish line. I wound up getting job done and defeat them both completed on my first run, because I screwed up a couple of times, and then I did a second run where I got that 2.5 minute thing in. Actually met all 3 of them, but when this screen showed up, it filled in that center star. So it does appear that you can get these kind of out of order as you go. Oh, and somebody on my friends list has apparently managed to do it in 1 second faster. So maybe I'll make this the last thing, because it only takes 2 minutes. This is a tutorial, by the way. This is to to teach you how to use the speeder bikes on indoor. And may I say, again, these things can't take much of a hit from trees or anything else, though they could take more of a hit than an X-Wing can, which is a little weird. And holy crap, this goes kind of quickly. There is a normal path through that you can see as you play, but if you get off that path, good luck finding it again. It's a very dense forest, but they've strike a good balance between a path through the forest where you're not going to constantly just run into shit, versus, I love the fact that it's a live stream. I don't have to censor myself the way I have to do on Star Wars Beyond the Films and Rebels Roundtable. So you're not running into shit, versus something that really feels like a real forest. So I have to agree, played a lot of beta. Yeah, I played quite a bit of it myself. It's interesting. And yes, I do find it interesting that this game has no single-player story content. It's built on the same engine and everything that Battlefield 4 is, and I think Battlefield Hardline as well. When you pre-ordered this on PSN, you got a 25% off of one of the other Battlefield, or one of the Battlefield games for getting Battlefront. So I used it to get Battlefield 4 so I could try it out and get a feel for the engine outside of this to give some commentary that actually hopefully is intelligent. And yeah, I find it interesting that Battlefield can have a story, but Battlefront can't. I wonder if to some degree, though, that was because they were trying to push this out prior to The Force Awakens, and they just had a deadline that there was no way they would possibly be able to meet.
Yes, sir.
Go for help, go! Anytime they jump on these things, I can't think of anything other than go for help, go. Alright. Now, in this case, your blasters and your speed have no relevance to each other. It's just in starfighters. Ah, hitting trees! Oh! Boom! Yeah, full speed, probably not the best idea. Yeah, I was able to do this the other night. No deaths, 2.5 minutes. Actually, less than 2.5. It's like 2:24. Kill the 5, get all 3 stars, blah, blah, blah. But you notice, as long as I'm staying on this path, I'm not really running the risk of running into trees, but if you get off the path, it's kind of tough to see what to do, where to go, like that. He said, watch out after I already smack into stuff. Thank you so much for your helpful commentary. As, not you guys in the chat, I'm talking about the guy in the game. What's the line from George Carlin? Some people just need practical advice. Like, don't get run over. Interestingly, with this, damn! Gotta pay attention. There we go. Interestingly, with this, the controls are similar enough to the Starfighter to be an easy thing to jump into, but not entirely intuitive. And man, I gotta go pick up some health or I am gonna die again. I don't know how I did this so well last night. Of course, last night my wife was watching and I was trying to show off, so, you know, maybe that's what it is. When it's on live stream and I'm just BSing, then that's okay. But when the wife is watching, you gotta be badass, otherwise she gonna laugh. Trying to convince my wife that she needs to play it even though she hates any game that uses 2 analog sticks. Which should be interesting. La la la. There's a boost, by the way, like that. I didn't even try. Great for straightaways, bad to fly into a tree. Just saying. Boom! Alright. And I gotta be honest, I find it odd that sometimes people say the exact same things in the exact same wording in everywhere. Just messing with you. Alright. La la la. Man, 237. Man, I still have only killed 3 enemies. This is what happens when I ain't paying attention. Like, yeah, he's not paying attention. He doesn't just suck. This is where I usually will boost whenever you're on this part that's about to drop down. Both early on and here. I don't think it's actually meant to be you're driving in a circle. Yeah, there we go. So you get to the end of a certain predetermined route and the whole thing shuts down at that point. Does this little cutscene, which you can skip. I like the kind of getting revenge. There you go. Get your revenge for Return of the Jedi there. Alright, all of a sudden it's a rebel that flies into stuff. Or like me, an Imperial. So yeah, just a quick run through there. Wasn't really intending on showing that one. But you see, those are where the stars came up. Last time you noticed that even though that time I did not get the within 2 minutes 30 seconds, shoot, I don't even know if I killed 4 or 5 enemies at that point. I think I was at 3 last time I actually bothered to check out the number. So I certainly didn't get the defeat them one, though I did get the job done, which means just get to the end of it. So you'll notice, even though I didn't get all 3 stars on that run, they still show up. They are cumulative. You get them, they stay. Okay, which is nice. Alright guys, I've been going for about an hour and a half. For those who came in late, if you want to check this out on the YouTube channel later, you get a little bit about me if you don't know about me from earlier in the stream. And again, the plan is to bring in other people from within the Star Wars podcasting community and elsewhere, have them come on as part of the party chat, play as partner characters or party characters in here, discuss the game, discuss other Star Wars topics, particularly ones that are brought up in the chat or asked of us ahead of time, so that we can turn this into sort of a combination of stream and podcast. But not like many of the podcasts, as I mentioned earlier, where it's a podcast and then they just come up with some random video to put over it to put on YouTube, actually playing the game while we talk, which also forces us to not edit the thing so we can be a little more explicit, though hopefully not too horribly so, except for language, of course. And it would allow us to be able to put something out there super quickly instead of having to wait around for editing. Because, if you got a podcast that's an hour and a half, you're looking at probably 3 hours or more just editing that to get it into a position or a form that you're ready to put online. So it'll give you some more content, hopefully, alongside Star Wars Beyond the Films and Rebels Roundtable, the original Rebels Roundtable, which of course you can find on StarWarsReport.com. Yes, we say original because there's another podcast out there that a month or so after we decided to announce with the exact same name and go with it. So whatever. All right. It is thank you very much, that one, Jen. I think that's going to be I think it'll work out fairly well, I hope, assuming we're able to get enough people involved in the process as we go. And I guess last question to answer before I head out of here, Kenny asks, compared to past Battlefront games, how is the gameplay different? Put it that way. This plays less like a Battlefront game and more like a Battlefield game. That said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Regenerating health is a good thing. It is geared toward more casual players. You don't have to earn your heroes. You don't find ships on the battlefield. It's all based on picking up power-ups, essentially. And of course, there's no story campaign. There is no galactic conquest mode or anything. The closest to that is, just big-scale battles like Walker Assault and Supremacy and whatnot. So it's a different beast. It's a different experience. But then again, it is a reboot, right? It's Battlefront with no number and no subtitle. It's essentially a reboot of the franchise, and in that sense, I think they've done a fairly good job. We'll get more nuts and bolts and everything as we go along, as I play next time, hopefully in the near future, maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? Depends on what my workload looks like as my students are eating lunch or whatever that winds up with them having some dead time in the system and all. So thank you folks for watching. This has been the Battlefront Livestream Podcast episode 0, sort of the setup. Be back with another one sometime in the relatively near future.